In this video, I show you how to overcome fear and panic. Hi, it's Bijan here from coachingonline.org. I'm a life coach with a background in hypnotherapy and systemic therapy. My passion is to help others explore and change their inner subconscious pattern. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. It's not a long time ago I entered a new relationship. And looking back at the time till now, I realized myself it often happens that I had like anxiety, fear, even panic in some moments. So this is, I think, a great example, especially if you enter a new relationship, then these feelings like fear or panic could arise, and I think they're pretty normal, and it's normal that stuff like this happens. This is one example. There are plenty of other examples where, fear can arise in yourself. And sharing this personally, there's what's going on in our brains or in our thoughts usually is there's a side in you which in certain situations maybe paints a picture of really a very extreme negative scenario which can happen, and this side of you always paints the worst case scenario and the worst of worst that can happen. And usually, this brings up all this fear and panic. And our impulse usually often is whether to freeze or to run away. So there are different techniques or impulses we have in this situation when this fear arises. And focus is also a very important part in it. So our mind tends to go in a direction. If I stick with this example of relationships, if you're not in a relationship, you fear like being alone, you crave like having someone to share your life, all these things are going on. So if you're single, your focus is all on finding a partner, getting this relationship, and our brain tends automatically to go to this place to see what's lacking in your life. And then the opposite happens if you enter a relationship. Maybe at some points you get triggered, you get fierce about, I want freedom. And then you look back, how nice was it to be single again? And how nice was it these times I've been single and I was so free and could do what I want and could do decisions on my own. So this is usually how our brain works. We always focus on things we don't have, and this leads to unsatisfaction, unhappiness, and I think it's scientifically shown that older parts of our brain, it's like a survival mechanism that our brain is wired to look out for danger and look out for enemies that want to eat you. And this is maybe the cause behind it, why we focus always quickly on negative things and on things maybe we don't have in the situation. The trick and the technique is to bring your focus actively on positive things, on the positive sides, and make yourself clear that there's one part maybe in you which paint this horror pictures, like worst case scenarios. But this is just this fiery side of you, and there are also a lot of other positive things and other outcomes that can happen. So the best thing to do is first put your focus on positive things, bring your focus actively back from the negative to positive. Second, be aware that this is just the side of you which paints a worst case, and this usually not happens in real, the worst case. And the third, what you could do is, the best thing is to let it happen. So if fear arises, if panic arises, then realize, ooh, there's panic. And then just let it be. Ideally, don't act on it. So usually it's not a good idea to act on this panic or fear, whether it's freezing or running away. Usually if we come to a normal state again, then we realize, oh, it was not wise, it was not good to follow these emotions. So the best thing you could do, resist this impulse to flee, stick with your emotion. So allow yourself to have this emotion and realize that almost all people have this. So it's not just you, all of us. So we all feel these situations where we freeze, where we want to run away, where we're panicking. So be aware, it's not just you that have it, it's a normal thing. And if you realize this and make yourself aware of this, tell yourself it's normal, it's okay that I fear, it's okay that I have panic, I want to run away. Usually what happens if you allow this emotion to be, then it's not a long time until it disappears again. This is usually the best technique, rather to act on it or to try to avoid or repress these fears or these panics. Usually you can't avoid them totally. So usually they just, something in your brain get triggered from past experience, from other things that happened in your past. And then the network is activated in your brain and it just starts. And then if you realize that, and if you really allow yourself having these emotions in the moment, usually it's the best technique to help that they disappear with time again. Another level you could reach, this is really advanced, but I highly recommend it to try. If you manage it to communicate these fears towards, let's stay with this example in a relationship, towards your partner, this could really open more intimacy, more space for intimacy, more understanding for each other's, because usually the other side has it as well. And it can be a huge relief if you speak about this and if you share and exchange your fears and your dark sides, because we usually all have them. And we tend to not show them because it's meant to be like weak or vulnerable. But it turns out that the more brave and courageous you are, the more you speak about these things. And then usually you find out both sides have these fears and panic sometimes. And it can lead to huge relief and to huge new bond between two people if you're able to share these and if you're able to speak about these and maybe at one point to laugh together about these fears. This is, I think, the highest level you could reach to start to open up about these emotions and talk about them. I hope this helps you. Really appreciate your time that you're spending with me here. Please subscribe to my channel and give me a comment if this resonates with you. If you struggle with communicating maybe fears or how you cope with fears, would love to hear about it. Would love to make a video out of it as well. As always, a disclaimer of mine, please always question what I'm telling here. Please prove critically if it's helpful for you or not, for your situation, for your personality. So every advice, every coach who tells you stuff, you should critically prove and question everything, because we all living in different realities. And it's not like one tip or one recommendation solves or fix it all. So usually it's like every situation, every person is different, which is beautiful. And in some situations, some advice or some perspectives are just not helpful. So just always be critical. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time and see you in my next videos. Bye bye.